This is the client flow 20 system. It's for energy resources and mining technical consultants. We'll refer to that as ERM from now on. And these people hate selling. It's an opportunity to let the offer do the work without any calls, without any pressurizing, without chasing anybody, clear decisions. So the purpose of this is business to business with long cycles and technical decision makers, quite typical for technical industries. And the result is that you get fewer wasted conversations, so you don't burn out your leads, and you get more buyers, and they self-select themselves ready to move forward. So the old way burns pipelines. That's the legacy playbook of qualifying somebody with questions, booking triage calls, sales calls, having webinars, and on these sales calls, handling objections, and you're pushing for the close. It's far too much time. So the outcome is that there's lots of motion, lots of activity, lots of time, lots of effort, little signal, and prospects feel pressurized. They're the ones that aren't empowered. So what we've got here, typically qualified people, 30% of that initial audience. You book 40% for triage calls. 50% show up for the call, and there's only 10% that actually show up for the offer. So this isn't specific to the industry, it's just general maths. So this new mandate, this new directive in the RM, what they're looking for is reduced friction and let the decision quality drive the speed, not pressure. So why does this work, and why does it work now? It's the market shifted. There's a few things here we can have a look at. 75% of B2B buyers prefer a rep-free experience, and they want rep-assisted digital, because that reduces the purchase regret and improves the deal quality. That's interesting. There's an interesting one here that the buyers pre-decide. 92% start with at least one vendor in mind. 41% already have a single preferred vendor before formal evaluation. And just for this industry context, there's ongoing waves of resources and energy projects. They're really crying out for the need of clear, transparent supplier information and fast qualification. And again, here, clarity earns trust. Okay, so the core principle of the client flow 20 system is that it's letting people self-select. You don't qualify them by asking them a host of invasive questions. They just qualify themselves just by engaging to your process. And your job is to present the right offer at the right time, and they just get out of the way. So that three-step system of attention, where you're asking the prospect, do you want to see a better way? Trust, where you're laying out the process. Here's how it works, totally transparent. Offer, here's the plan if you're in, with everything in there. Step one, this is the first strike message. It's to get interest and intent. What it does, it builds problem awareness, plants seeds for future offers, and earns that yes, please send me more. I'm open to learn more. So this principle, you don't talk about yourself, you name the pain and you hint at a unique mechanism. So an example DM intro might be, if cutting downtime in tailings, monitoring by 40% without adding headcount is useful, 1 to 2 page explainer. By all means, customize the metric to your proof. And why it works now is buyers want fast answers and control before they engage live. So the output, cash flow and clients, and a growing warm audience that knows you solve real problems. It's the output of the system, the client flow 20 system. On to step 2 now, the trust path document, where we pre-sell via a unique mechanism. So the format is 1 page, could be 2, explaining how your approach removes the prospect's pain. There's no pricing, there's no offer, it's just the unique mechanism. So include this unique mechanism, what pain it solves, what becomes possible. It's like a soft CTA of we want to see the plans, the next step. And the goal here in the trust path document is to earn trust in less than 5 minutes. It's to create curiosity for the full offer. It's to cut out a lot of that traditional relationship building process. As soon as you've got some interest, you're taking somebody right to a place where they can ask for the offer. There's no backwards and forwards and traditional trust building process. So the fit to the industry, ERM industry, is to align the language to site level realities. So this is where if you're a consultant in this area, that you really speak the language, you really know what they're really interested in, how you're going to build trust. So it's those site level realities, transparency, expectations that are common in energy resources mining, e.g. clarity on the impacts, the controls and measurement. And step 3 is actually the offer itself, the official sign-off offer. It's complete, it's transparent plan, everything's in there. So the contents will include a specific outcome, minus the pain, a full plan and timeline, an acceptance criteria, risks and assumptions made, fully transparent pricing, and what happens next. So the goal is to remove friction, resistance, any questions so the buyer can decide now. The psychology, they've said yes twice. So that's once at the first strike message, twice with the trust path document, and are now pre-educated. Now they check fit. So what not to do, you don't convince, you don't negotiate, you don't chase. Your status should be that you don't need this project, you just stick to the plan. Now, this is backed by research, information, consistency across reps and digital raises high quality deals, and rep assisted digital halves, regret versus self-serve alone. So now decision time, getting framework and the follow-up. So every step's objective is to get a decision. So every step, the message, that initial trust, that initial message of the strike message, the trust path, and the offer. Every stage, there's a yes, advance, a no, great, keep warm for the next offer, and miss the enemy. You don't want a maybe, it creates endless back and forth. So at all costs, avoid a maybe. Make the offer more specific, include everything needed to decide, set expectations. It's either a go now or not. You do not want a maybe. So the 3 follow-ups per step, then you stop, is the 3DM closer sequence. So after that first strike message, the message could be, what do you think of the doc? Well, it'd actually be the message itself, wouldn't it? It's not a doc, but what do you think of the message? What do you think? Second follow-up would be a light nudge. Mind if I check in on? X. And number 3, no pressure. If not a fit, could you share why not? So I can improve. So you're after some feedback. And that's it, just the 3. The rationale for the 3 as a limit is insufficient data for a universal optimum. So it's just a case of trying for yourself. Some of the information I've got is that you don't get the follow-up on the first or the second, but then you do on the third, and you're leaving money on the table if you don't follow up. But then you've got to count yourself in your specific industry whether you do go to maybe 5 follow-ups. So you could do that if you want a little bit more work, if you're prepared to do that. But choice, and it's up to you to find out as to what happens. If you do 3 messages and all 3 fail, then that could be something you would want to improve, where you introduce a 4th one and see if you then can capture some of the audience then. So you've got to stay on script and some simple tracking, so you always know what to fix. So it's a little bit like a conveyor belt. You've got to be rolling with the system to see where you're falling off and you need to improve it. So to stay on the script, certainly acknowledge any questions that people might have, but do this briefly and very quickly redirect them to the next step of the script and keep momentum forward. People start talking about personal things, the kids, the life and everything. Yeah, you certainly acknowledge that, but don't start talking about that and don't start following up about those issues. If a child went to hospital or something, I mean, of course, your interest, you want to make sure the child is okay, but don't make that the focus of your follow-up, because you'll lose status if you start to do that. And track these 3 numbers. So step 1, if people are coming back and saying send me more, great, tick. But if you get no response, then make a note of that. Step 2, when they've asked for the trust path document and they've engaged with it, and have they then asked to see the offer? So make a note of that, how many people you've sent the document to and how many have asked to see the offer. And step 3, have they accepted the sign-off offer? So again, what number of people have received the offer, and how many have accepted it as an order, how many have ghosted even after the follow-up sequence of all 3 steps. And then you have to fix what's weak. Step 1, if it's low, then you've got to strike, and you've got to sharpen that first strike message. Or maybe it's not quite hitting the spot with the pain points. Maybe it's not really establishing your authority. Maybe the call to action isn't soft enough. Maybe it needs needs to be a little bit more direct. Step 2 is to strengthen that trust to make it clearer, perhaps your unique approach. Is it really unique? Maybe you need to clarify that. Maybe it needs an accompanying video. A low step 3 will clarify the sign-off offer. There's outcomes, the risks, price structure, make sure everything's in there, but you have to refine that. And then we've got the client DM system. This is when you're not dealing with a cold prospect. This is a warm prospect. These are people that have perhaps been through the process before and are not on another offer, and you're introducing them to a new offer. This is like a bonus strategy for people who are already in your network and have already gone through that client flow 20 system, and whether they buy or not, they are now warm. This means you can then send them client DMs, direct invitations to work with you. There's no need to hide who you are or what you do. It's more direct and personal. So the progression is cold leads go through the client flow 20 system. They become a warm lead. Goes through the client DM and become a client. And this creates a never-ending pipeline of warm prospects. Specific, your 7-day action plan, specific to energy, resources and mining. Days 1 to 2, perform the audit. You map every step prospects take before they see your offer, and list the drop-offs in the maybe pile. Days 3 to 4, build that trust path. It's just that 1 to 2 pages doc on your unique mechanism for a cold ERM lead. Add site-specific examples and metrics that you can prove. Step 3, days 5 to 6, package the sign-off offer. So complete the plan, timeline, acceptance criteria, risk handling, commercial terms, and transparent pricing. Finally, step 4, day 7, test. So you can send up to 10 client DMs to warm contacts, perhaps they could be your study audience, up to 30 first strike messages to cold leads, and track them as you go through the steps 1, 2, and 3. Collect those rates and refine the weakest link moving forward. Okay, thanks very much for watching, guys.